A, and that's your final answer?
Well, let's talk Breonna Taylor.
This was a horrible incident and a ghastly comedy of errors in the worst way. And so we have the police executing what I believe was a no-knock warrant, as in another police shooting that happened in the last couple of years. They went to the wrong apartment. They were not supposed to go to her apartment. She's in there in the dark. Her boyfriend is there. Apparently he had a weapon. I think it might even been a legal weapon. And what happened is they broke the door open. The room remained dark. The boyfriend reportedly fired first, although there is no objective evidence other than the police saying that he fired first. So again, they have opened the wrong door. Something bad is happening. They cannot see into the room. 3 policemen fire. One of them fires once, but the bullet goes straight into a different apartment. He is the one that has been criminally charged for reckless use of a handgun by the grand jury. And then the second policeman fired an entire clip, which is 8 rounds in many automatics. And then a third policeman fired 16 rounds, which means he fired a full clip, put a second clip in and fired a second clip. And again, they are doing something that is prohibited in police training, and that is firing into a darkened room, because you don't know if you're shooting at the bad guys or perhaps hostages or perhaps completely innocent people like Breonna Taylor. And I can't say the boyfriend was completely innocent. I'm not quite sure why he fired, because he definitely fired. We just don't know if he fired first. But the situation is that, as I understand it, the city of Louisville, Kentucky, has already paid the family a record $12 million to resolve the civil suit. And this is without any criminal prosecution taking place. So I think the city is trying to do its best. My understanding is all 3 of these police officers involved in this horrible situation have been fired, as they should have been. Hopefully the police department is going to rededicate itself to doing better training of its officers. So we do want our officers to defend themselves, but we also want our officers to engage in much smarter conduct. What's interesting also is that there was a parallel incident of a no-knock warrant here in Houston, Texas, where they went reportedly to the wrong house, or at least the people in the house were not the people they were seeking. They broke open the door. They killed the man and the woman who were in the house. And the questions that came around that turned out that most of the officers were fired here in Houston. Criminal charges are pending against the person who led the raid. And so they're doing the best they can. But I believe City of Houston has decided that no-knock warrants will not be allowed in the future. I have mixed emotions about that, because there may be reasons to do a no-knock warrant, but they're going to be very special circumstances, and perhaps with the permission of the Attorney General or the local district attorney or something like that. But we need to train our police better. We need to have not a shoot first, ask questions later mentality, which seems to have been dominant in this case. On the other hand, the cities that have been ravaged by this violence, there's a no-win situation there, because most of the America's inner cities are populated more heavily by minority and low-income populations. They are destroying their own base. They're destroying employment opportunities. They're creating a situation where these facilities may remain in decay and damaged for many years ahead. And the question is, did this accomplish anything? And I'm not seeing that violent riots accomplish anything. Most of the time when we look at civil rights progress, the most common references are things like Rosa Parks in the bus desegregation issue, Thurgood Marshall in bringing before the Supreme Court the Little Rock, Arkansas school board, and Martin Luther King and, of course, his famous peaceful marches that took place, and, of course, the most memorable one in Washington, D.C. in front of the Lincoln Memorial. And so the pattern of violence that we've seen over the last year to roughly, certainly last 6 months, is not called for. It is not something that is designed to really accomplish much, but it does appear to have been a movement that's been hijacked by anarchists and others who are up to no good. And I think it's quite unfortunate, because we do need to focus on better police conduct. We need to focus on improved diversity in our wonderfully diverse society, but riots in the streets are not accomplishing any of those purposes.
And we would love to have your comments. So do your research, look for the facts. And if you want to ask Dr. Schein a question, please include it here in the comment section, and we'll be watching those and we'll get those questions to Dr. Schein. Great. Well, this has been a great day, and we'll be announcing our topics for next week. You can watch us live right here on Facebook every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Central. Or you can go over to YouTube, watch it there, or to your favorite podcast. So if you have a favorite podcast and you cannot find, if you cannot find Saving America, then request it. So we're getting on more and more podcast distribution programs every day. And I know we're on iTunes, and I know we're on a few of the others. So if you want it on yours and you don't see it, then feel free to request it, or send us post a question again in the comments, and we'll be happy to make that effort for you. So thanks again. Thanks for joining us here on Saving America with Dr. David Schein, author of The Decline of America. This is the facts about the presidents for the last 100 years and how they dealt with one crisis after another, whether it's economy, whether it's immigration, or a pandemic, as we have and other presidents have had. So as we approach the final month in this pre-presidential election year, if you're still undecided, which there are a percentage that are still undecided according to the news, then get this book. The facts in this book will help you make your decision for the upcoming president of the United States. So, The Decline of America, the 100 years of leadership failures. So that'll give you a little insight into this book. So have a great week. David, have a great week. We will see you guys back here next Tuesday, 11 a.m. Central. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Sandy.